Ken, game number 30 tonight. Just maybe talk about the assessment of the season, especially with the expectations you had coming into the season.
Well, obviously, first off, you look at the standings. You'd have to be very happy to be, competing with the best teams in our division. In the standings, I think, on the team, I think they found good team chemistry. We've won some big games on the road. I think we're 10-6-1 on the road. You like to be able to go on the road and win games, and we've won some big games on the road. And I think that overall it's been a really good 30 games. Still 52 games to go. Long way to go. It's going to get harder. Going to get tougher. But I think so far so good.
There was a story the other day on Johan Franz, and Chris Chelios had some things to say about it. There's some stories swirling around about Mike Babcock and maybe the way at times he treated people. Ken, were you aware at any point in your tenure, did anybody make you aware that Mike was treating anybody in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate or abusive? What were you aware of?
No.
Nothing at all?
Well, I'm not telling you they didn't. I've been a manager for 22 years. I've been Scotty Bowman, Dave Lewis, Mike Babcock, Jeff Blashill, and now Tip. At the end of the year, I always do exit interviews. I started that at the beginning. So do players not like their role, not like the coach, not like who they're playing with? Yeah, I hear that all the time. You talk about Johan Franzen. Johan, I can't speak for Johan. He came out, he was very clear. He thought Mike Babcock was a tremendous coach. He doesn't like him as a person. And I would say, too, that when you have a 23-man roster, when I was in Detroit with Mike Babcock, there were some players in that locker room that didn't like the coach. There were some players in that locker room that didn't really have feelings either way. And I know that there's some players in that locker room that thought he's the best coach that they ever played for. No different probably than when I played in 1975 to 85. It's just when you got to dole out ice time, and you got to go through your process, some people are going to like you, some people aren't.
But part of the stories is of guys, going through a difficult time, having breakdowns, things that they claim dramatically affected them. If that happened, is that something you would have liked to have been aware of at the time?
Yeah. I'm aware of everything. Okay, that's my job as the general manager. I'm aware of either firsthand, or certainly the trainers come to me, the team doctors come to me, the coach comes to me. I'm around the team on an everyday basis. So either firsthand or secondhand, for the most part, not every detail, not every conversation. My managing style is, when the coach talks to the team, I'm not in there every day. I want the players to know that the coach is the boss. So, I'm not, when the coach has one-on-one meetings, whether it's the head coach or the defensive coach, I'm not in those meetings. So there's one-on-one meetings, and there's some team meetings that I'm not privy to every word that comes out. But certainly I'm aware of the message. I'm aware of the message that's coming from the coach on an everyday basis. I'm in the locker room before the game or before practice. I'm in the locker room after practice. I've tried to be available to our players through the years, whether it's the short time here in Edmonton or my 22 years in Detroit, to talk to the players pretty well every year. I talk to players after the season. To get an exit meeting, to talk to get their feelings on everything that's going on. So am I aware that there was some unhappiness? Yeah. But I think there's always going to be unhappiness. I don't care what your style is. But I'm not aware of some stuff I'm not aware of.
Have you talked to Johan?
No.
Did you talk to Babs and Chelios?
I talked to Chelly because when Chelly was on Spittin' Chicklets, I guess, I don't follow it, but the timeline that Chelly, I told Chelly, I hold Chelly in the highest regard. I mean, he played for us for 10 years. He's a warrior. He was he brought him onto our staff as an advisor. He was an assistant coach with Blashill in Grand Rapids, and then he came to Jeff. He was an assistant coach for a year in Detroit. So I've got a long relationship with Chelly, and I just said to Chelly that the timeline that he laid out, the perception was that there was a situation between Babcock and Franson on the bench, and the next day I came down and said something to the team. Both are true, but they're about 5 or 6 years apart. So when I did address the team one point in time, it was, I think Chelly retired in 09. Chelly said he was sitting in the locker room, so it's got to be 06, 07. And the Franson Babcock was the Nashville series in 2012. So I just wanted to make sure that that everybody understood the timeline was 5 or 6 years apart. So I did talk to Chelly. I haven't really talked to anybody else.
There was a report that in the Nashville thing with Franzen that the Swedish players came to you to have a meeting. Is that true?
About what?
About Franzen, about treatment?
No, I mean the Franson that game we got eliminated. It was Game 5. When I came down after the game, you know, I had a number of people tell me that there was a heated exchange on the bench, and we were eliminated. Always, whenever we're eliminated for 20 years, we've had a day off. The next day, I address the team as a group, and then I do exit interviews. So, did I have over the course of 10 years? 22 years. It's every. Have I had players in my locker room? Yeah. Doesn't matter who's coaching.
And you've known,
Doesn't matter what your style is.
my apologies. You've known Mike Babcock for a long time. What are your thoughts on kind of what has transpired here over the last little while in regards to all the stuff coming out about him?
I'll keep my thoughts to myself. You know, we had 10 years. He works. He comes to work. He works hard every day, and he was a tremendous coach. Over the course of 10 years, or I don't know, are you going to have some people that are not happy? Yeah, we're trying to. There's that fine line between trying to push people to make us better individually, to make us better as a group, and also there's obviously you got to be on the right side. I think the most important thing is respect. Trying to make sure that you've got. We're all trying to find it, managers and coaches and players, to make sure that there's respect is the most important thing in our game.
There's this, you know, I don't know if movement is the right word, but a situation happening in the hockey environment where lots of people are coming out, whether it be on social media or in the media, talking about the way they were treated as players, feeling at times mistreated, maybe abused, things that happened a long time ago. How do you think the game and people involved should be handling these accusations of the past when maybe things were a little bit different, viewed through today's lens, and how we sort of process all of this stuff that's coming out right now, Ken?
Probably an opportunity for all of us to look at how we do business and make sure that we're better because of it.
And it will cause you and you will encourage others to do that? Is that what the game could use?
Well, I mean, the game is, Ryan, the game is massive. I mean, I can't get on the phone and be phoning everybody. I mean,
your staff, your people.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's a big game out there. So I think that you know, I'm sure. You know, I've talked to my staff and over the course of the last few days, and it's and me personally. You know, I went for dinner with my wife last night, and you're making sure that I'm going to do things better or differently. That if you haven't done something, maybe. I don't even know what the right word is. I think it's a time for when you look at yourself, and we look at ourselves as an industry to make sure that we're learning something and we can come out better because of it.
Is it true? I remember Scotty Bowman told me once when he coached one way when he was in Montreal, one way when he was in Pittsburgh, but then by the time he got to Detroit, he wasn't coaching too much longer, and the players were younger and stuff, and he had to change with the times. Is that what you find with a lot of older coaches? The longer they coach, they have to change. their message might be one way, but how they.
Well, I'm old, so I mean, Jim, when you ask me that, I think, I don't think it really matters about your age. I think it matters about respect. I think it's about, we can go all. I think it's about respect, and I think it's about making sure that we respect one another. And certainly, the manager-coach relationship, the manager-player relationship, the player-coach relationship, the player-player relationship, the player-to-training staff, medical people. I think all these relate to media, to the fans. I think ultimately, for me personally, I think back to what Ryan, it's about respect, making sure that that we respect one another.
So, okay, just to change gears a little bit, if there was a high-scoring winger available as a rental, how much would you have to give up in terms of pieces for that?
You're funny. I don't have time answers all questions.
So what, in terms of rookie, what is your philosophy on rental players?
What is my philosophy? Well, you just got to look at my history in Detroit. Historically, when I thought that we've had a chance to make some noise, I've tried to do something. Early on, I made some big noise. Obviously, Chelios at the trade deadline, and Brad Stewart, and made some moves. But 2015, I think my last year, the year before, 16, maybe 14, 15, traded a second-round pick for Cole and a third-round pick for Zidlicki, trying to get a little more depth. I think if you got to, right now it's, what is it, December, it's the beginning of December. Trade deadline's what, February 26th, 25th, 26th, 27th, right at the end of February. We're all of December, all of January, most of February, we're 3 months away. And even teams that are, other than 3-4 teams, if you're 12th in the conference, you're 5 or 6 points out of a playoff spot. So I think it's a long way away from rentals. And I think on our side, the flip side, we've had a great start. It's important that we continue to put ourselves in a position so that this question that you're asking me on February the 15th, it's an easy league to all of a sudden lose 6 or 7 in a row. You can play good.
You don't have your third rounder probably. No. And you don't
Well,
have
I don't know if I do, but
your
it's being held.
you don't have
We
your seventh
can't
either.
use it. We
You don't
can't
have your
use it.
seventh either, do you?
Yeah, we can't use it.
So to trade another draft pick, you're going to be pretty fair at the draft. If you traded another draft pick, you only get 7.
Well,
You're already down to 5.
let me make that decision. Let me make that decision.
So,
And, yeah,
do you
yeah.
value draft picks that much?
Yeah.
In terms of.
Yeah, but I value winning. I mean, when you get a chance to win, I value winning. That's what you got to value: winning versus draft picks, winning versus future. Those are the. I'll sit with my staff as we go forward, and those are the decisions that you make as you head towards the trade deadline.
Because of the success you've had, are you maybe more likely to push more chips into the middle if it continues this way than you might have thought you would have been?
Ryan, I think I don't have an answer for that. I think that's experience. It's just weighing all the information, talking to your people, and ultimately making a decision at that point in time based upon all the information. So I can't say to you yay or nay. I can't say to you yay or nay. And I think whatever decisions we make leading up to the trade deadline, and I think that's what these questions are all about, are going to be based upon, number one, standings. Where are we going to be in the standings? We're in a nice place today, but things change in 2 weeks. And then who's available, what's the cost, and you go through all that, and then you weigh it, and you either do or you don't.
Would you be paying more attention to the Ottawa Senators tonight than you normally would?
I find, for me personally, when our team is playing, I have a hard time focusing on the other team.
Even if there might be something.
Yeah, I just have a hard time focusing on the other team. If I want to watch some other team, Jim, I'll watch them tomorrow night or last night. It's not when they're playing our team.
Ken, there was a deadline December 1st for concerning Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yep.
Did you have any last discussion with him or with other team about him?
I haven't talked to Jesse or his agent in a while. Maybe in 6 weeks, I'm guessing. I had a brief conversation in the middle of, there was really nothing to talk to them about. They were either going to get the news. They made it clear Marcus Lado and Jesse made it clear over May, when I became GM May 6th, over all of May, all of June, all of July, all of August, that they were, their camp was very entrenched in the decision that he had made. Had lots of talks in August, went really quiet in September. I did talk to 5-6 teams from middle of October till the end of, till December the 1st or the day before. I did talk to 3 or 4 teams the last week. Ultimately, there wasn't a deal there in my mind. I'll deal with it next summer.
Thanks, Ken.